From Cardinal Television Studio, I'm Madison Kelly with your Fisher News Brief. Derek Chauvin is once again facing third-degree murder charges in the death of George Floyd. The former Minneapolis police officer was seen on video holding his knee to Floyd's neck for nearly 8 minutes while Floyd complained he couldn't breathe. Judge Peter Cahill initially threw out the charge in October, but an appellate court ordered him to reconsider it. Citing a similar case, prosecutors convinced him to reinstate that charge Thursday. Third-degree murder stems from perpetrating an act eminently dangerous to others and evincing a depraved mind without regard for human life. The charge carries a maximum prison sentence of 25 years. Chauvin is also facing second-degree murder and manslaughter charges in the case. He has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say we are at a critical point in the pandemic, on the verge of being able to vaccinate every adult in the United States. Yet, COVID is still killing close to 2,000 people in this country every day. Meanwhile, Texas is risking it all, lifting a statewide mask order and allowing businesses to open with no limit on capacity. Ed Levendura reports.
Feelings of frustration and dread as businesses are allowed to fully reopen and the statewide mask mandate in Texas is lifted. This Houston restaurant owner says he doesn't understand why Governor Greg Abbott is turning him into the mask police.
We've been hurt the most, and requiring us now to take a side on the mask isn't right in my opinion.
For some, it's triggered an emotional reminder of what's been lost in the last year. 38-year-old Jonathan Martinez died of COVID. His mother says the Texas reopening is a kick in the stomach.
My son left 6 children behind. 2 of the youngest are 6 and 4 years old. They don't understand why their daddy isn't coming home.
Other states are now pushing ahead to reopen as well. Utah will lift its mask mandate on April 10th. The date was pushed back to get as many people as possible vaccinated. In Maryland, starting this Friday, capacity limits will be lifted for restaurants, retail stores, and other businesses, but masking and spacing protocols stay. All in all, more than a dozen states are easing restrictions, with more in the coming days and weeks. The renewed fights over mask wearing come as the race to vaccinate Americans continues to speed up. An average of 2.2 million people now getting the shots every day. Alaska is becoming the first state to open vaccinations to people 16 and older.
And we have a real good possibility of hitting herd immunity before any other state.
More guidelines will be released as more people are fully vaccinated. The CDC director says it comes down to a couple of things.
This is really just a baby step from the CDC. We intend to update these guidances as more people get vaccinated and as case rates, we hope, continue to come down.
But even if they do, Dr. Anthony Fauci warns of another possible surge.
We're not out of the woods yet, even though we really want to be, and we're going in that direction.
A divide between state and local health officials could emerge around who exactly has the authority to make COVID safety and prevention changes. In Texas, health departments are largely decentralized. That means local health units are primarily led by employees of local governments, which might have different viewpoints on mask wearing than the state. Prince William says the royal family is not a racist family, in response to comments made during Meghan and Harry's interview with Oprah Winfrey that aired Sunday. During the interview, Meghan and Harry explained why they stepped back from official royal life. Meghan says she found life as a royal so difficult that she had suicidal thoughts, and said there were concerns in the family about baby Archie's skin color. Prince William told a reporter that he hasn't spoken with his brother yet, but he will. A historic victory. That's what President Biden said about the COVID relief bill, his first major legislative win. With the final party line vote by the Democratic-controlled House, the $1.9 trillion bill is one step closer to bringing aid to Americans. Karen Kaifa is live in Washington with a look at what happens next.
President Biden's massive $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill clearing its final hurdle on Capitol Hill.
On this vote, the yeas are 220, the nays are 211. The motion is adopted.
The House with the final sign-off on Senate changes to the bill, including narrowing eligibility for stimulus checks and taking out the House-approved federal minimum wage increase. Democrats describing this not as a win for President Biden, but for millions of Americans.
This is a momentous day in the history of our country because we have passed historic, consequential, and transformative legislation.
The bill to provide, among other things, direct payments of up to $1,400 per person to families earning less than $160,000 a year and individuals less than $80,000. A $300 weekly federal boost to unemployment benefits through September 6th. $15 billion for long-term, low-interest loans for small businesses, and funding to chart the next, somewhat thornier phases of the pandemic, like vaccine distribution and school reopenings.
This bill represents a historic victory for the American people. I look forward to signing it later this week. Everything in the American Rescue Plan addresses a real need.
Despite the bill's popularity in polls, not a single Republican in the Senate or the House voted in favor.
It showers money on special interests, but spends less than 9% on actually defeating the virus.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
As the Earth gets hotter, natural surfaces for ice hockey are vanishing. So Russian hockey legends are playing in vulnerable locations to bring attention to the problem. Fred Plaikin went to one of those locations in Russia, and this is his report.
A power play to help save our planet. Russian hockey legends playing a match on the majestic Lake Baikal, the largest freshwater reservoir in the world. Organized by all-time NHL great Slava Fetisov, who's now the UN's patron for polar regions.
We play on ice, it's, as you know, it's ice melting everywhere, not only in the North and South Pole. It doesn't need to be the rocket scientist to see what's going on.
I had the privilege of being allowed to play in the match on a rink made of ice blocks at this stunning venue. The initiative is called The Last Game, which plays hockey in places endangered by global warming around the world, endorsed by the UN and even blessed by Pope Francis.
Of course, the reason for this game is very serious. The warmer our Earth gets, the less space there is for games like ice hockey and other winter sports as well.
Lake Baikal is one of those endangered areas. It's gigantic, holding more fresh water than all of America's Great Lakes combined, a fifth of the world's unfrozen reserves. But there are a lot of unresolved problems here, from unregulated tourism to harmful industries. The Russian government also recently relaxed regulations protecting the lake. And Russia is one of the countries hardest hit by global warming. Record temperatures for several years have led to a massive melt of its permafrost, leading to giant sinkholes and releasing even more greenhouse gases, as well as massive wildfires that further increase the world's temperatures.
This is the catastrophe which no vaccine could be found.
And while hockey won't save the world's climate, at least the organizers hope it will cause some to take action to try and preserve the natural playing fields of the game that so many love so much. Fred Plaikin, CNN, on Lake Baikal.
A teen's hard work is about to pay off big time. The superstar student has scholarship offers pouring in, and the numbers are adding up. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A West Philadelphia high school senior is riding high after being offered more than $1 million in college scholarship money. Searching for the right schools, Shania Robinson Owens applied to roughly 30 colleges. As the response letters came rolling in, the family realized she was being offered more than $1 million in scholarships.
It's just adding up day by day.
Shania says she's been accepted to 18 colleges so far, including Temple and LaSalle University. She plans to pursue a degree in psychology and is currently touring campuses. She hasn't made a decision on a school yet, but this aspiring psych major has got to be psyched that her hard work and potential is being recognized.
I was really shocked. I was like, oh, well, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I could cry, laugh. I didn't know what to do.
The uphill battle of COVID times has summoned the very best from essential workers. Watch a small town celebrate an unsung hero of the pandemic, delivery drivers. Residents of Dauphin, Pennsylvania celebrated UPS driver Chad Turns for his hard work. They say Turns is known for his kindness and thoughtfulness, not to mention his long hours of hard work delivering during the pandemic. Turns was surprised with a $1,000 gift and a giant card signed by community members.
Thanks, guys. I don't know what to say now. You got me choked up.
You don't have to say anything. You've taken care of us for almost a full year now. We just wanted to say thank you.
A company spokesperson called Turns a great UPSer and said the display highlights the strong bonds between drivers and their communities. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
That's it for today's news. For Fisher News Brief, I'm Madison Kelly.